to the Marketing Report. My name is Russell Pearson and this is episode number 54. The Marketing Report is a podcast for passionate yet frustrated business owners who are looking for a competitive edge. And today we continue our Moral Fairground series talking about ethical business. Now, if you don't know, Moral Fairground is an organisation that has a fantastic event running right at the moment called Fair at Square. You can find out more about that at moralfairground.com.au. But they are there to promote and enhance ethical business, sustainability and social enterprise that's happening throughout Australia. And I've come on as a media partner to support them. So go check out moralfairground.com.au for more information about the event and everything else that they're doing. Now, our series continues with another fantastic interview today, and I'd like to make her feel absolutely welcome, the founder of the Founder's Vision, Shannon Threlfall.
Hey, Russell, thanks for that.
No problem. Thanks for being here. This is the fourth interview that we're actually doing in this series. So it's fantastic to actually speak to people from all different walks of life in the social enterprise space. But yours, I guess, a little bit different because a lot of them are doing specific products or work in specific areas. But I think yours is maybe even a little bit broader. Can you tell us about your business?
Yeah, sure. So the Founder's Vision, I started that for women entrepreneurs, and that's women with an X. So anyone who identifies as a woman or is non-binary, I want to be as inclusive as possible. So I basically started it because in the business world, it's quite hard. It's a male-dominated space, and it's pretty quite hard for women. We all have different needs, and it's just biological. It's, our circumstances in society. It's harder for us. So that's why I started it. And so the Founder's Vision is all about, because my background is social entrepreneurship, and I'm very passionate about that. So it's all about creating a new economy through business and using social entrepreneurship as the driving force for that. So I help women collaborate, come together, really problem solve for business and society as well through my membership, which is the Visionaries Collective. Yep. And so, we come together to collaborate and problem solve, and it's all about sort of a bit of activism and creating a new economy through with diversity and social entrepreneurship at the heart of that new economy.
Now, we've mentioned social entrepreneurship a few times, but you've said you've got the background in it. So can you tell myself and the listeners, the viewers, a little bit more about social entrepreneurship? Like, what is that?
Basically, to me, social entrepreneurship is when you use a business as a force for good in the world. So every business needs to be profitable. So this isn't charity. Mm-hmm. This is every business needs to be profitable so that you can go on to help as many people or the planet and everyone that you can. But basically, you're not driven just by profit. Yep. You're driven by something bigger than yourself. You're driven by a bigger purpose. It can either be something very specific that you want to change in the world. It doesn't have to be super broad that you want to save the entire world, but you see a specific problem that needs solving in terms of that it's going to make the world a better place. It's not just a problem that a type of shoe or something like that. It's something really broad and a bigger problem that's going to make the world a better place. And that's why you want to have a business, and that if your business is sustainable enough to grow, then you're really going to make an impact, a positive impact on the planet.
Yeah, that's great. Now, it's funnily enough, I've mentioned this in a few of these things. Probably people are getting sick of it now, but it was only a few podcasts ago that I interviewed my daughter, who's 14, just turning, and she had just done a course. Now, I don't know if it's your course. I don't think it is, but it's a founder's course about social entrepreneurship. And she learned understood the processes and the procedures. And when I was looking at it, what I loved was that it fit in with the best practice business processes, because it's all about creating a sustainable business, something that's going to, be able to sustain itself through good times and bad. But what was interesting about that is that she's, I don't think, completely different than her peer group, but they really resonate. I think younger women, anybody who's sort of in that younger space right now really resonates with the ideals of social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's it. And I think we're at a point now. So I say to people that I want to help these women with their social businesses so they can be role models for the next generation. I sort of picture that, you know, entrepreneurs will be the new superheroes, you know, instead of looking to Hollywood or, you know, TV shows, reality TV stars to be like the idols. I would like to see a world where it's entrepreneurs who are doing cool things, and that girls, especially young girls, can think, oh, I can start a business, I can be an entrepreneur. I don't have to be a tech startup or anything like that. I can make a difference in other ways and still have a business. Yeah. And that's what I see my role is helping women get out there. And because women especially also have, you know, it's hard to stand up and you know, there's not that many women leaders compared to male leaders and that sort of thing, or people with disabilities or non-binary or transgender or anything like that. Those sort of leaders aren't really out there. So I think it's important to have a platform for these people to have their business and then also become leaders, so other kids that are like them see that and think, I can do that too. Yeah,
now I'm certainly seeing those things change at a grassroots level, but obviously at a more public level, it's still got a little ways to go.
Yeah,
probably a long ways to go, depending on your point of view. But you said you started in, or you had a background in social entrepreneurship. So can you tell me the story of like where you were at and then why you decided to start this?
Yeah, so probably started about 10 years ago. So I studied fashion design. That was my background. And then I became aware of social issues just by, I actually became vegetarian because I found out, I visited a chicken farm just inadvertently through a company that I was working for. And I asked what goes on here. And I just had no idea. And I was like, 21 at the time. I had no idea where my food came from. I never looked into it. And then once I found that out that day, I became vegetarian. And then I started looking into all of these practices. And then because I was so into fashion, it started me asking those questions about fashion. Where does my clothing come from? Who's making it? What's the environmental impact? And from there, once I started knowing all these things about my lifestyle and the impact it was having, I couldn't turn back. And I was already interested in business. I always knew since I had my first job at 15 that I was going to work for myself. Just didn't know what I was going to do. So I started working with small businesses in the social entrepreneur impact space, ethical and sustainable businesses. I was doing research and I was working right alongside these founders, seeing what their problems were. So so I've studied international business and new small business as well at uni.
Yep.
And so I actually really love business. And so part of my thing is what I said before about having a sustainable business that can grow. I really work with people to get those foundations right of business, because you can go in and have an idea and that you want to change the world, but you really need to get the business stuff right as well. So yeah, I worked with these founders, found out what their problems were, and what I saw is that they didn't really have the business skills because they're creative and they're visionaries. They don't have that other side of the brain working so well together with that. So yeah, I worked with them, and then I actually started my own circular fashion business. And I was just about to launch, but I was heavily pregnant at the time.
Yep.
And then I had to stop due to pregnancy complications. And so I thought, I'll just pick it back up when I have my baby. It doesn't work like that.
No problem.
No, I was extremely naive. I've never been a baby person. And so I just had no idea how much time it was going to take. And I didn't want to put her in daycare or anything like that. So I had to pivot and think about, okay, what can I do that's going to work around my family life as well? And that's why I started doing some consulting work, that sort of a thing. And then that's kind of evolved to what it is now, where, I've just released like a membership and want to work with more people that I can handle. Like doing one-on-one consulting for me is just not enough impact.
Yeah.
So I want to work with more people at once and work more collaboratively as well, rather than just one-on-one.
Yeah, great. Now, a lot of memberships out there where they're working with people, certainly through a startup phase, there's usually an application process that, you've got to sort of, check if these people are going to be able to be coached or, whatever it might be. I'm interested to know, because I would imagine with yours, it would be even more, it would be a deeper process. Because from the conversations I've had with the social enterprises over the last few weeks, it's definitely been a case of if they're going to partner with someone or work with someone, they almost really need to get to know them. Understand them from an ethical level, deeper level, commitment level. Do you have is it a deeper process with when you're actually bringing someone into the membership, or is it just like helping them understand what it is to be a social enterprise as part of the onboarding?
Yeah, so it's not a huge it's not a process to get involved. So anyone can sort of sign up, and then what it kind of is when you're in it, like I'll sort of keep track. Okay, who's participating, and like, and it's not to be like, okay, you're not participating, you're out. It's like, that's an opportunity for me to reach out and be like, you know, what do you need help with? Like, is there a reason that you can't participate? And it's set up so there's a few things going on. So there'll be like guest experts, and it's not too much that you're over, because a lot of, I've been a part of memberships too, and it's a lot of, you know, it can be like too much, you know, this week we're doing this and you've got to learn this, and here's the workbook for this. This isn't how mine's set up, because I want people to sort of dip in and out when they can. I know life, especially if you've got children, like I can empathize with that now. You know, life changes every day, every week, and it's not like you can't make every masterclass every week or something like that. I don't want to give people homework. So it's like, you know, so there's going to be a book club next year, and there's going to be, there's like guest interviews and Q&A sessions, and all of it's sort of recorded. So you can like pick and choose what you want to do at any given point in time, but you don't have to show up at everything. But in terms of like participation, that sort of a thing, we do a catch up, like a, you know, jump on Zoom, catch up sort of a thing, and collaborate, that sort of thing, mini masterminds. So it's led by a guest expert.
Help with sort of the roadblocks, you know, I'm trying to find a partner in there, I don't know how to start, you know, things like that.
That's exactly right. So you can, it's led by the members. So it's, I'm not just going to say, oh, we're doing this month. It's like, what do you guys need help with? And then sort of narrow it down from there. Okay, this is the topic for this masterclass, and then we can jump into a different group and do this masterclass in small little groups, like focus groups, and that sort of a thing. And then if, so then if I reach out to people, if I see they're not participating as much as they were at the beginning, and find out what's going on and really connect with people. So my thing is to keep it small though. I'm not growing this to tens of thousands of members like some other memberships, because then you just get lost in like, I don't have like a Facebook group for it, anything like that, where it's just threads and threads and threads. It's to keep it small. So I feel like it's more impactful that way as well, when you can really get to know the people that are in the group. Not just me, but everybody can get to know everybody.
I'm one of those people that just keeps coming up with ideas for everybody else, you know. I apply most of them to myself as well, but I could imagine that it would be a really useful, like if you created a little short course that like a much broader base could at least do that to get the fundamentals and understand the, you know, what it is to be a social enterprise.
Yeah, there's actually a course. So when you sign up, you get access to the courses that I've run before. So there's like the foundations of business, like what I was talking about a bit earlier, the foundations of your business and that sort of thing are in there as well. So so they can just dip in and do that. And then if they need help with that, they can also get help with that in the membership.
One of the questions I've been asking in each of these interviews for the social enterprise side of things is, what is ethical to you? What does it mean?
For me, it just means basically doing the right thing by the planet and everybody on it. It just means doing...
What comes first? Is it the planet or people on it?
I think it's the planet. Without the health of the planet, there will be no people on it. So you absolutely have to put climate and the planet first. We, as much as all the animals in the animal kingdom, understand that the planet sustains us, except for humans don't understand that. We think we sustain ourselves. It's just not true. So yeah, it's all about it's just doing the right thing. It's, you know, ethical in business doesn't mean that you can't make money. It just means that money shouldn't be your prime motivator above anything else, and that you shouldn't put aside your values or the values of other people just to make money. So, you know, there's that old people, profit, planet, triple bottom line. Yeah,
triple bottom line.
Yeah, and I think that's really valuable to just think about business in terms of that, where all of them can work together. It's a circle. People, profit, and planet. It's okay to have all of that.
Now, actually on that, because I haven't really talked about this side of things much. I understand it, but you've got the background in social entrepreneurship. Can you explain to the listeners and the viewers, what is a triple bottom line business?
So triple bottom line business is that people, the three Ps, people, profit, and planet. So in a traditional business model in the capitalist society that we have now, it is basically all you care about is profit, growth on a profit level. How you're going to achieve that, it doesn't matter. It can be at the cost of, you know, hiring workers for $1 an hour. It can be at the expense of polluting waterways, polluting air, all that sort of thing, as long as your profit grows to satisfy your shareholders. But for a new economy, you need to focus on people, profit, and planet. So you do need profit to grow your business to create a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with making money.
I think the key word there is really sustainability. Like it's how do you continue to do the good work that you're trying to do, and you can't do that without some form of energy, and sometimes that's money.
Yeah, exactly right. You definitely need it. Then it's the people. So it's not just people in society and how like your products impact everybody, but it's also the people inside your company. It's the people who make your product with your products. It's the people who work next to you in the office. It's your like HR, it's your company culture, it's all of it. Any person that your company touches, that you have to consider the health and their health and well-being as well. So whether it's you offer, good maternity benefits when they're having a baby, or whether you're offering good breaks and long service leave and all of these sorts of things.
Yep.
And then how everyone in your supply chain. And then the planet is just, what is your carbon footprint? Where is there any pollution that you can cut down or cut out in terms of energy?
Mm-hmm.
And also just, again, like at an office level, where can you go paperless? All of these sorts of little things are the things that you should be thinking about in your business every single day. And they should be measures of your success.
And then like every now and then you hear people say, well, why should they? Because it's easy enough to say, yeah, they should be, or this is how it should be. I was watching that David Attenborough, what's it called? Is it Life on This Planet or something?
Life on This Planet, yeah.
Yeah. A brilliant documentary. Now, obviously, it has a bias, but the whole point is not about the bias. It's about his experience, and it's his witness statement. Like it's what he's seen through his lifetime.
Yeah.
And that had a great impact on me because I love systems and I love cycle systems. And so I really love the idea of sustainability. But what he evidenced through that documentary is that we are in a system.
Yeah.
And that one thing needs to exist for another to exist for this thing to happen. I end up getting into aquaponics off the back of it because I was looking at all his stuff. But when it comes to the triple bottom line, do you have and maybe this is a bit weird and maybe the people on the podcast can't see what I'm going to do, but do you think of it as a triangle, or do you think of it as 3 points? Is there a high point? Is there a low point? What comes first? Is it a balance? Is it trying to work in harmony?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't think it's a line because I don't think anything in our existence is linear.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I picture more of a circle because like you say, like everything, there's just a circle of life. It's the most basic thing. So everything I picture is sort of more of a circle. So one isn't more important than the other. This comes like sort of like your question earlier, like what about people or the planet? People sort of struggle with this when they're trying to think of which problem they're trying to solve. But yeah, like I said, you need profit to sustain your business in order to help more people, in order to help the planet. It's just, you do need all of these things working in harmony, and it's just making sure that one isn't coming at the expense of the other.
Yeah, and I think probably I've been thinking about this obviously a lot, and coming into these interviews as well. Harmony is a great word for it, and I always like to think of it. So there may be people who are listening to this that do meditation. I don't know if you do.
I do.
Well.
Yeah.
But it's a practice, right? And so if you think that you're going to meditate and for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're just going to sit there and be in trance or in a meditative state the entire time, you're kidding yourself, right?
Yeah.
The practice is to move to that space and continue to try and practice to move to that space. So I'd imagine the triple bottom line is very much like that. So whether it be our bodies that feel out of balance sometimes, whether it be the business that feels out of balance, it's being aware of that. And so how much... Actually, this brings in my numbers side of things. How do you track that?
Yeah, that's the hard bit. So it's just all about, like, I'm a huge fan of continuous improvement.
Yes.
And just having that as a philosophy in your business. So it's sort of can be up to the individual business how they prefer to track things, because I don't always track lots of things so closely. Some people like to track everything every day. I'm not like that. I like to look at more of the bigger picture and track it incrementally that way. Yep. But yeah, if you think of continuous improvement, I like to think, because I'm a bit more philosophical on this side of things, where I like to think about every single day, sort of ask myself some sort of reflection questions. Okay. How was yesterday? What could I improve on today? What's something that I can do better today? These sorts of questions. And then you can just, when you've got a team, you work with your team and ask these questions, and you involve your team, because this is where I think diversity comes in as well, that everybody has different experiences, everybody has different knowledge and backgrounds and that sort of a thing. So everybody is gonna see different areas where it's like, oh, we can improve here. They care about different things. So why someone in your company might be more passionate about how are we impacting people, someone else will be more questioning how are we impacting the planet. Yep. And so they'll see areas where you can improve there. But I just think if you think about it in terms of continuous improvement, it's too overwhelming to think about the big picture and think, oh my God, like how are we going to reach this target or whatever. You think about every single day, what's the next thing that you can do, and just reflect on it every day. Ask yourself at the end of the day, how was today? What went wrong? What went right? And then tomorrow, what can I do today?
Yeah, I love that, and especially as a start and a step into that space. I'm a big one for continuous improvement too, whatever system you're using for that. And clearly, I like systems, right? So I would imagine that the ultimate in this scenario would be, the amount of time that you look at your profit and loss and your balance sheet is the amount of time that you're actually looking at your impact on the planet, is the amount of time you're looking at your impact and support of your people.
Yeah.
And potentially there is a way to create like 3 reports, and I guess it'd be different for every business, but that have some fundamentals that a P&L would have, that have some fundamentals that a balance sheet would have.
Yeah, that's it. And like it is very dependent on the type of business that you have. That's why there's not going to be, profit and loss is fairly standard, but every business can have. But there's nothing like that in terms of your impact.
We should create one.
Exactly. But then it's like, how? Because I have a service-based business. Like, how do I measure my environmental impact as much as compared to, and mine's all online, compared to someone who produces clothing? It's just an entirely different thing. So you can't really have a universal, like there's lots of different, especially my background in fashion, there's a million different certifications for, organic and fair trade and all of these sorts of things. But even then they're all different as well. And they're trying to be the same, but they're not. So it's just very hard. So that's why I say it's better to focus on your own business, what you're doing and how you think.
You know what it is? Actually, I think I've got an answer. Like I always like to solve things on here. Right? I like to have these conversations with smart people who actually understand the concept. So the government enforces the P&L system because they take a dollar figure from what you make, what you turn over, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that to actually have a system that was consistent, that the government would need to enforce a planet and a people piece.
Yeah.
Now we don't want, rules and regulations and all the rest of it. It gets in the way of our entire free thinking. But I would imagine that there would need to be some intervention at that level for a systemized thing to be taken up across the board. But I kind of come from the place where we can't really just wait for governments as well. As much as I'm thinking in a far off future, maybe 200 years.
Yeah. But I think that it can be often easy for people to say, oh, there's no government thing for this. I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do it. So I think it's better to take responsibility at your own level, at your own business for what you're doing now. And I think there's no reason why you can't. Just because the government doesn't have a regulation for it or what you should be doing doesn't mean you can't look at your own business and develop something for yourself. It doesn't mean you can't look to other businesses. So if you're in fashion, you could look at Patagonia or something like that and see what they're doing, ask them questions. There's plenty of information about, you're not the only business that exists that is like you. Yeah. So you can look to other businesses and ask them, reach out if you can't find it online. What are they doing, and implement those systems and adapt it to your own business. There's no reason why we have to wait for the government to care, because if you're in Australia, they don't care, and who knows when they're going to care about the planet. So there's no reason to wait for that. And I think that if you are really interested in having an impact, a positive impact on the planet, then you won't wait. You will make one change today and another change tomorrow, and you'll keep doing it, and you'll make it as part of your long-term plan to get to carbon neutral by 2030, whatever your goal will be, and you'll work on that incrementally every single day, regardless of what the government is doing.
I think that's the awesome thing about this space is that, like, you know, centuries ago, people were pioneers in all sorts of different areas. But people right now, entrepreneurs, passionate people, have the opportunity to be pioneers in this space. And you're right, we can't wait for anybody. Like that's not going to change things. But it'd be interesting to see what it might look like in 200 years when we've actually, because you do see, even in my own lifetime, I've seen change in this conversation, massive change in this conversation. I think it's still got a long way to go, but it's people are having the conversation now. You know, which I think is awesome. Now I've got some more questions. I want to ask you some more things. We're getting stuck in the in awesome part of the conversation. But now you've been running for a couple of years and really focusing in, I think this year in particular, your business. Obviously, getting off the ground. What are some struggles that maybe some people can learn from if they're looking to start a social enterprise?
I think one of the hardest things is really figuring out what problem you want to solve. Because I think people in this space, or everyone that I've really ever met, and I'm the same, is like you care about so many things and so many issues. And especially this year with all the protests that have been happening, like let's forget about COVID for a minute, but everything else in terms of race and equality that's been happening has come to a head this year. It's like, oh my gosh, there is so much happening. And it's where do you start? Who do you want to help? Where's going to have the biggest impact? So my advice would be to just pick one thing and focus on it. Because if you have your fingers in too many pies and you're trying to solve every problem, you're only going to have this very minimal impact in each of them. And you only have so much time and energy and money. So yeah, I would say just pick the one thing, really think about it. You know, I'm a big fan of intuition. I was like, I meditate and these sorts of things. I really think pick your one thing. Don't worry about what people say you should be doing and that sort of a thing. Pick the thing that you care about the most and the one topic, and go for that. Yeah,
an inch wide, mile deep type scenario.
That's it.
Yeah, it was again, my daughter doing that founders course, she was able to make mistakes, which was great. So they wanted to help, mental health for people around their age.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll create this app and it's going to have this in it. Yeah. And in the end, they weren't able to get it all done. They weren't able to put it all together because there's too many things.
Yeah, that's it.
So if they could just take one piece of that and go, what's the most important piece in here, which is, without using the phrase that's been overused a little bit this year, but how to move the needle. That's one thing that we can do. I used pivot before, so that's fair play on my part.
Exactly.
How do you what's that tiny thing that we can actually that's going to have the most impact?
Yeah, exactly right. And I had to do that for my own membership because of course I wanted to throw in all these things. And I'm like, no, because it just overwhelms people. So you just want to figure out what has the most impact, and don't be afraid to pivot and change things if you feel like it's not working or you just don't care as much as you thought you did. Like, it's okay to change your mind. That's the other thing. You don't have to get bogged down what you've already done.
That's fantastic. Now, the future for your business, where do you want to take it? What does it look like? What's the future?
Yeah, so I really want to grow the Founders Vision into a hub for women social entrepreneurs. I really want it to be a place that they can come to help grow their business in terms of getting all the foundations right and the actual business strategy side of things right. And then also a place where they can come and actually solve problems, because I'm an activist at heart and I really enjoy meeting with other people who are so passionate about things. And that, like I said before, it takes diversity and different backgrounds of knowledge to really solve actual problems. So I just want it to be a place where everybody comes together and we can use each other's skills and experiences and backgrounds to solve real problems in our own businesses at that sort of micro level to a grander scale in the world.
That's fantastic. And so where can people find out more about getting involved?
So I have a website. It's thefoundersvision.com.au.
Awesome.
And I'm actually not really on social media, so that would be the best place. And you can contact me on there. And you can also email me at shannon@thefoundersvision.com.au. I'm open to anyone sending me emails. That's totally fine.
Fantastic. And that's Shannon with a double N. And we'll be putting the links in the show notes and things like that. So make sure you check them out. Shannon, fantastic to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much. It was great.
No problem at all. Clearly, Shannon's passionate about the work that she's doing and really embodies, I think, the ideals of social enterprise, and it's a privilege to have these conversations. I don't think we're going to be having any more of these interviews, but we'll cross my fingers I might be able to get one or two more in. But if you're looking to look more at what I'm doing, go to russellpearson.com. You can see I'm helping passionate yet frustrated business owners get more out of their business, and ideally focusing on that sales and marketing side of things, how to engage more people to work with you and spread your impact to a wider audience. And I'm clearly passionate about that. So until next time, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one.